Mike King Biz, the premier business media brand covering and connecting Central Virginia. It's home to Mike King Biz Radio, producer of On the Mic with Mike RVA, which airs on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM, The Choice 105.3 FM, and worldwide on IBGR.network. Follow Mike King Biz for the best business-ish content in RV.
In the neighborhood where you ended up at, or that was just bigger than Christmas?
It was not terribly far off. I had 650, yeah. It was a range, but it did not have a B. It had an M, but it was over the 500 million mark.
Okay, that's close.
Yeah.
That's in the area code.
Yes, yes.
It's a very nice area code.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All righty, Chris Winslow. So as I said, I was at home, and I see you with that smile on your face, you and the governor, announcing the deal. And I want to know, so everybody who's somebody in business all of a sudden went to that Google machine and tried to figure out where Chesterfield was. Nothing personal, but where is Chesterfield and how did they pull this off?
Well,
there you go.
Thank you, Mike. And first, I will say to Jennifer's point, we in Chesterfield will accept millions or billions. So I just want to put that out there.
There's no discrimination there.
This afternoon, I want there to be anything missing on that. I don't think it's any secret that we are the fourth largest locality in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I don't know if too many people know that, but we are, we've been, I guess, a little bit of a sleeping giant. But one of the big things that we have to do, and my colleagues on the Board of Supervisors are here, and I want to recognize them because each of them represents their districts with dignity and integrity and a lot of hard work, and I appreciate you all so much. But we work as a team to bring economic development and opportunity to each and every citizen, and that is a core function of government, and it's something that, as somebody who grew up in a single-wide trailer in Wycomico Village in Gloucester County, I can tell you is extremely important. We want to bring opportunity to every single household, and that, we do. We take that very seriously. With that said, my small piece in this is small, and that is to sit with Garrett Hart and the Secretary of Commerce and the COO of LEGO and, of course, Governor Youngkin, and to hash out the incentive package that was going to be on the local level. It shouldn't surprise anyone in this room that every single Board of Supervisors in America wants to be Chesterfield for this deal.
Yes, sir.
And that should not be lost on anyone, certainly not lost on me. And so, knowing that they were across the table a few months ago as we sat there to finalize that incentive package, there was no pressure at all to getting that right and to making sure that at the end of the day they were happy. This is LEGO's first U.S. Factory, and so they have a factory in Mexico. And this is it. Chesterfield County will be their home. And when you think about the ripple effects of that on our local economy, in terms of other businesses wanting to come here, when you look at what that's going to have on the effective household income, opportunities for our students at our elementary, middle, and high schools, I'm thinking of tech training, all of it. It is decades upon decades of opportunity that has landed here. And so you don't get stingy with incentive agreements with something like that on the other side of the table. Finally, I'll just say one thing, and I'll pass it on here, and that is that there's a man named Sonny Curran who was a supervisor in Chesterfield many moons ago on the Board of Supervisors. And he understood the value of Meadowville, where LEGO is going. He understood what Meadowville could be and understood that he needed to get behind it because it meant vast amounts of land zoned industrial is an absolute critical component to why we got LEGO. And that decision and his decision to go door to door and get behind that and lead from the front 30 some odd, you can correct me, Garrett, about the exact year, 30 some odd years ago, is why we're here. One of the reasons why we're here today. Some of these deals take a long time to, to get going. But if you want to start and chart the start of this, that's where it all started. And so we do owe that Board of Supervisors some thanks for their vision. And just to connect that into your Upper Magnolia piece that was rezoned earlier this year.
Really quickly, when you look at something like that, you have to have the vision, and you have to have the person that they're selling the vision. What did it take to make that happen? Because you're selling to, I guess, the constituents something that's going to go possibly 30 years down the road. There's a long time before he was knocking on the door that you guys are standing there saying, this is the reason why we were knocking on the door 30 years ago.
That's a really good question, and I think it takes someone who understands business and understands that things. Well, the only constant we all have is change, but that boards of supervisors in our 4-year terms that we have, we can either take the ball and move it forward, or we can be parochial and look at our own areas and our own neighborhoods and not think about the county as a whole. And so I do think it takes that county-wide perspective, but then also our regional partners and working with GRP and our state partners at VEDP and others, where we have to say, okay, we're not just expanding the pie for citizens here. We're expanding the pie for everybody in the region, because there's not one kid in the region who's not going to be excited about Lego coming here. And that excitement will translate to their parents and their grandparents and all of those opportunities that come. So I do think it takes a grander vision.
Opening day for the Lego facility, what do you guys foresee that to be?
I believe we have a groundbreaking schedule for September.
Like you say, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back to you with that. We're working out those details. So really from the state level, Virginia is known as very friendly for business. You were known as very friendly for business prior to this Lego announcement. All right, the floor is yours. What happened after that was made?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's a pleasure to be with you all this afternoon. I'm Vince Barnett, the Senior Vice President of the Business Investment Division at VEDP, and we are kind of where the rubber hits the road in terms of exactly what this panel is up here talking about. We have a team dedicated to finding new opportunities, lead generations, how we refer to it. You have offices in Europe, Seoul, in Tokyo, and we're constantly out trying to find new opportunities to be able to partner with folks on the panel here. And economic development is truly, truly a team sport. It sounds like a cliche, but ultimately deals get closed at the local level. So many times leads start at the top of the funnel with us, but ultimately these companies, particularly in the international space, they're finding new places to live, move some of their families, people to locate, raise children, and ultimately that all gets solved at the local level. So yes, our perception, Virginia's perception as a business-friendly state, we've been ranked in most of the national business rankings right at the top of the list for many years. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that process. We have, Jen mentioned the consultants, they play a key role. We have an initiative where we target roughly about 200 of the top consultants, where we're out attending events, we're calling on their offices, we're doing all these various things so that we can get those phone calls. And in this particular case, when the calls came in to both the state and to the region, they had down selected, but they had not only down selected to Richmond. So there were other regions in the state that were under consideration, and it all circles back to what Chair Winslow was saying, the foresight, and what Matt was saying around Upper Magnolia. 30 years ago when Meadowville Park was starting its vision, these projects are coming to us with very defined needs, and those communities who have those that can meet the timeline, and that's the key here. From the pandemic, these timelines have been condensed drastically. So those communities that have prepared and had the foresight to invest long-term, and although it was 30 years for this project, Meadowville's done really well prior to this particular project.
This is On the Mic with Mike King Biz.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Aw, man, you know Mike.
My fellow Americans, you need to get on the mic with Mike. I'm trying to tell you, everybody knows Mike. Man, the guy knows what he's talking about. He's connected.
I mean, like the mafia, he's connected.
Nah. More like on like the business level. He's a networking genius, this guy, Mike. I swear he pops up everywhere. He's at all the functions. He comes by, he's shaking hands, he's smiling. What's his deal? Hey man, he's out here to make moves, make people make money, and move the culture forward. You know how it is.
Man, I need to get on the mic with Mike.
Yeah, the man is the definition of your network being your net worth, and he puts your network to work. I think it's time to get on the mic with Mike.
Mike King Biz Radio presents Women Speaking Sports RVA, Friday, 6 a.m. on ESPN Richmond. The roster features Lisa, Star, Carrie, Danielle, Steph B, and Dr. Danny, giving you all of your sports news from a female fan perspective. College sports, football, basketball, tennis, golf, and a look at the business side of sports. Bringing the heat every week. Women Speaking Sports RVA, Friday morning, 6 a.m. on ESPN 106.1 FM, a Mike King Biz Radio production.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Women Speaking Sports RVA. I'm your QB Star Mallory, and we have a team for you today. We've got our referee that calls the play, throws the flags, does not care, Danielle Fitzhugh. We've got our power forward, Dr. Danny, and our designated hitter, Lisa Trani. But not only are we missing our two ladies, we have one specific ladies with us on the panel today. Now, I hope everybody is wearing their closed-toed shoes because there is glass on the floor because the ceiling has been broken. Okay, honey, I've been keeping that kind of stuff in my back pocket. For sure. But so Lisa, why don't you do the honors in introducing the woman next to you?
Well, I think that you should do that.
Okay. All right. So with us today, we have the first female president of the Richmond Raceway, Miss Lori. Lori, welcome to the show.
Thank you so very much.
What
a wonderful welcome. That was amazing.
Well, we see you're wearing your red and white. You have your red microphone. You're really fitting in with the ladies. Like, how do you feel today?
I feel great today, especially with you guys. I mean, this is a very energetic group. We've already been bantering. The show started about a half an hour ago.
Exactly.
There's before the show and then the show.
And then the show.
And
I'm
then the
learning
show.
that.
Pre-game. Well, Lori, we're excited that you're on the panel with us today. We kind of just want to chit-chat with you and have a conversation with you. So I think the first question would be, how did you get here?
That's a great question. So I actually have a childhood friend that is the chief digital officer of NASCAR. And I'm from this area originally, and so obviously he's from this area originally, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of connection to Richmond at NASCAR. His name is Tim Clark. A few months back, he reached out to me and said, hey, we think we're making a few changes in Richmond, and we think you might be the perfect person for us to talk to lead the track. And I literally was on the phone with him and said, lead the track? What are you talking about?
What do you mean track where?
Like drive? Like drive on the track?
What do you mean by that? And he said, we've been watching what you've been doing. We've been watching your trajectory and the way in which you connect with the community. We want someone from Richmond, and we love what you've done in business and your successful track record, and we'd love just to talk to you when we come to town for the spring race.
Yeah.
And he said it was going to be a casual dinner. Let me tell you something. NASCAR doesn't do things casually.
Okay.
At all.
Sounds like our kind of people.
Tell us
So
more.
it was without getting into too many details. A lot of the top brass flew in, and the conversation was just really energizing and really fun. And I felt like if this is how things might go with them, in the future, then this was a great start. So the conversation picked up from there. And as I've shared with other folks recently, it kind of took off. They flew me down to Daytona to meet with Jim France, Lisa France Kennedy, Ben Kennedy, who own NASCAR, the founding family of NASCAR, and then other top brass. I had 14 or 15 interviews in one day, which right?
Sorry,
Right?
I was just like, wow. Yes, that's a lot.
That
That's
is
a lot
a
of
lot.
timing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty overwhelming thought, but once I got down there and got started, everyone was just so down to earth, and they were so warm and welcoming. And I left there thinking, gosh, if everyone is like this in the organization, and these were the top executives, these were the people who, they didn't have to be as welcoming and warm, but they were. And if this is how everyone is, then I think this is probably a great place for me, and it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was cool.
What a
Yeah.
great story.
It was really cool.
And isn't it wonderful to be wanted? Like somebody pick up the phone and call and say, I think you're it.
Yeah, and they explained sort of their vision for their future forward vision, and because I kept saying, why me? And a lot of people around here, of course, were asking, why you? You don't have a sports background. And I have said to a lot of those folks, I might not have a background in sports, but I've got a background in success. I love it.
Okay, let's put some trademarks. Yes, there you go. Did she leave yet?
Yeah. I mean, and that's not a very humble answer, I know, but I also, you have to get to a point where you have to, understand and be confident in your ability. And I've had a long record of building from ground one, and I've had to prove myself over and over again. And I know I have to do that right now. This is another one of those moments, but I do believe in my ability. And I think when I shared that vision with the folks at NASCAR, they echoed that, and they said, we're going to throw a lot of support behind you because we believe in you too.
Well,
That's
shout
wonderful.
out to you. You said your friend Tim.
Yes.
Because one of the things that a lot of times when you're in a position to take a leadership role, people are looking at profile, pedigree, and all of those other things. But clearly he saw leadership, and great leadership is transcendent. It's not something that you just, because I'm an engineer, I can do engineering. Great leadership follows you wherever you go. So shout out to Tim for seeing talent and rewarding that.
He's awesome, and he's a great leader himself. He's a very humble leader. We haven't heard a lot about him, but he's from this area, and he's been at NASCAR for 10 years.
Wow.
And he's really taken NASCAR digital in a new direction. And it's kind of that pay it forward thing. So now I'm looking around, how can I help somebody around here too, and elevate them, because he did that for me. So
Because it's no longer a handout, it's a hand up. So
Oh, that's a great thing to say.
Ooh, Danielle.
Yeah, I like that.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I like
What a good
that.
words.
Yeah. So that's
We've
kind
got
of
it
how it got here.
recorded.
Did you say she could have that one?
We got that recorded. We got that recorded.
Right.
So Lisa, did you have a question?
No, I was just going to say, you are one of 3 women in your position in all of NASCAR in the country. So how does that feel? Because that is groundbreaking. I mean, you're in a predominantly male occupation, so.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to be a part of that. Julie Giese, who is the president out at Phoenix, and she grew up in NASCAR. I mean, she literally started in NASCAR, and she knows everything about NASCAR from the ins and outs. And so it's nice to have her help mentor me and sort of show me the ins and outs. And then Jill Gregory, who has been in NASCAR for some time on the marketing side and at corporate, has now taken over as the track president of Sonoma. So it's a nice little tiny female club that we're all sort of calling each other and texting each other. The minute I got the position, they reached out to me, both of them.
That's great to hear.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that, we're in for some other groundbreaking areas. I think there's a female that's running a hockey team, and then there's been some women in the NFL that are come up. And I would love it if all of y'all would get together, even though it's across sports, because you could do even more, I think. Just that fellowship of the sisterhood, not just the three of you guys. That's great for NASCAR, but there's some impact that you could have even broader.
I completely agree. In fact, I've been putting a lot of thought behind that. Kim Ng at Miami Marlins, the general manager there. I mean, she talk about breaking glass ceilings. She really did.
Absolutely.
She's it, and that's huge. And of course, we just saw the Las Vegas Raiders. With
not my team, but
we
still cheering.
But the Raiders,
North Carolina A&T. Yeah. Okay.
So female executives in sports. That camaraderie. I think there is a lot to kind of bring forth, and I think there's a lot that we could bring to the table and leverage. I totally agree with you.
So Lori, are you hoping with you at the helm at Richmond Raceway that it will diversify the attendance and audience of those customers coming in to see? We've got an upcoming race coming up in another week or so.
Oh, completely. I mean, I started July 11th, and already I've reached out to Floyd Miller at Metro Business League and said,
And the Chesterfield Chamber.
And the
I'm sorry.
Chesterfield. I did.
I'm sorry. I just got to throw that in there. I just got to throw that in there.
I mean, I want to engage fully in, diverse audiences. That's not, again, like I said earlier, it's not just because I want to, but it's a good business decision.
It's good.
Right?
Great, yeah. We
But-
know that having diverse audiences, diverse customer base increases your revenue 15%. Who doesn't want an extra 15% in the bank?
But it's just
There's
great
your
for our
receipt.
community.
All right, sell it. I'm usually the money person, but look, Danielle,
Look, that's our DEI initiative at work at the Chesterfield Chamber.
And women executives
Absolutely.
tend to drive something on the order of that as well. So think about the diversity, not just in the attendance and the people who are participating, but look at what it will do for women.
Oh, yeah,
I
there's
mean,
a whole
I'm
nother
just
number
waiting
on
to get a
workforce.
cool cap that has your picture. No, I'm just
Yeah. Or a T-shirt.
A T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so Bubba Wallace, a black driver that's in NASCAR right now. We added a new event, Bubba Wallace's Block Party. I mentioned that a little earlier.
I thought that was I saw that. I've registered.
Great.
I've already registered.
Get there
wanna
early.
go.
Yeah,
I've
we're
already
on that. Yes.
The kids are going to go, but I've registered.
It's amazing. We have the Virginia State VSU marching band coming through. We've got
Are the woo-woo girls coming? That's what I want to know.
That I don't
They
know.
are bad.
I don't know about that, but
You
we've
need
got-
to have the woo-woo girls.
She
I'm just
wants to
saying,
dance with the woo-woo
look,
girls.
Oh, yeah,
And Dr. Danny might as well. She's been taking lessons.
Oh, no. I'll just have the tiara.
I just want to know how to do the walk.
Oh, okay.
I just want to know how to do the walk.
Well, you might get a chance. Well, and then of course Wale will be there entertaining, and we've got lots of food trucks. I mean, that's going to be a great kickoff to the race weekend, and so we are certainly making it more diverse already from the jump. I think it's necessary. I reached out to Eric Moses, who's the president of the Nashville racetrack, and he's the first black president we've had. I reached out to him before I accepted the job and said, tell me the ins and outs. Tell me what you think, because you've been doing this for a couple of years now. How do you feel? And he could not have said, better things about everything. So
Lori,
So
where do you
there
see-
always
oh.
has to be a first one, but it doesn't have to be the last one.
Exactly.
Right, so like I'm the only black chamber president of an all-inclusive chamber.
You're black?
Dr.
Danny.
I can't with her.
Throughout, in the
I
whole
didn't know. I'm
state,
colorblind.
the whole state ever.
I can't.
Ever. Not in the last 20 years, but chambers have been around since 1773, ever in Virginia.
Wow.
But I'm not going to be the last.
That's right.
Right? So, you know, we just have to keep making diverse hiring decisions, hiring the very best candidate to grow our businesses.
Absolutely. Lori, before you go, leave us with a gem. What are some goals that you see for the Richmond sector? And what's your biggest goal that you want to accomplish before you get out
For the Raceway?
for the Raceway?
Well, I've shared with a few people right now, I'm trying to keep it pretty broad. I really want to get through the next week and a half and see what the team has already accomplished because they've done so much already. They have laid a great foundation there. But I think, you know, another mistake I've made early on is overly complicating a very simple thing, right? And so if you keep it simple, it's really easy for everyone to, you know, jump on board.
That's right.
So the vision that I have is just for everyone to leave happier than when they came. And if you, excuse me, if everyone leaves happier than when they came, they're going to share it on social media. They're going to tell their friends. They're going to tell their family, and they're going to want to come back. So, excuse me. So I think that's the way that we're going to enter into 2023.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Lori, we really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you
to the
so
show and really speaking not just into our lives, but to the listeners. And we're really excited to see what you have to do. And we, as ladies, can't wait to join you on the track one day.
I hope it's in a week and a half.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Look, that's moving college day for me, but
Oh.
I'll be with you in spirit because I'll need to be
spirit.
somewhere.
Next spring. Next spring. That's a good reason.
That's a good reason.
I'll have a beer for you.
Thank you.
And we will.
You
And
might
we will.
need 5.
Danny.
No,
And
2
we
is
will.
my limit.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lori, for coming in and tuning in. You can find us on ESPN Richmond on 106.1 FM, as well as The Choice on 105.3 FM. Catch us every day on Instagram at Women Speaking Sports RVA. Thank you so much to our sponsors, the Hilton, Crystal Clear Financial Solutions, Core Mortgage, Intrepid Impact with Jerry Howard, Synergy Technical, Capital Ale House, Fast Signs, NFL, Freddie Berry, and Mike King Biz. We'll be right back.
I decided to get into real estate because I wanted to be able to provide a legacy for my family and also be able to be there as my children grow up. My name is Nicole Reed with Nicole Reed Real Estate and Associates, and I help individuals and businesses buy, sell, and invest in real estate. We believe that everybody deserves to build a legacy for their family and build generational wealth, and we believe that it can be done through real estate. Being in the top 1% in the state of Virginia of realtors and 5% nationally, my clients can rest assured that they have someone that is educated and very diverse within the marketplace. We want to make sure that we're looking and paying attention to every single detail when it comes to the transaction process and make sure that they feel comfortable and secure about making a decision, whether they're buying a home or selling a home. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, whether it's in Virginia or any state in between, make sure you call Nicole Reed Real Estate and Associates. Real estate redefined.